Happy New Year. Okay, so real talk. If you click on this video right now, at this exact moment, I need you to understand something. This might sound a bit crazy, but hear me out. This isn't random. This was not the algorithm. This wasn't luck. You were meant to see this, not an accident. And here's what's even crazy. The universe has been trying to get your attention for weeks, maybe months now, and you have been completely missing it. I'm about to show you 3 signs, 3 ways the universe has been literally screaming at you in your face this whole time. Why you have been programmed to ignore them, and what happens if you keep ignoring them. Because here's the thing. When the universe speaks to you and you don't listen, it doesn't just give up. It gets louder and louder and louder, and not in a good way. Let's get into it. But first, I need you to do something with me. Think about the last coincidence that happened to you in the past 48 hours or so. Maybe you were thinking about someone and he texted you out of nowhere. Maybe you keep seeing the same number everywhere, or you had this random thought and then it just show up in real life. You know what I'm talking about, right? You definitely know what I'm talking about. Like, you know how it is. Got it. Good? I want you to hold that thought. Because by the end of this video, you're going to realize that wasn't a coincidence at all. Once you see what I'm about to show you, you can't unsee it. I'm going to text to be number 1. This is a story of a champion. I'm not saying for the camera, by the way. I'm just saying it to myself. So, this is the first thing I want to talk about. And I'm going to call it whatever I want to call it, just because there's really no rules in the universe. The villain reveal. Now, here's what nobody tells you about the universe communicating with you. You have been programmed to ignore it. Actually, take 1 second and think about it. Since you were a kid, what were you told? You were told, trust logic. Maybe as you got older, you were told, trust data. Trust what you see and touch. Don't trust your feelings. Don't be superstitious. Coincidences are just coincidence. School taught you to ignore your intuition. Society taught you to dismiss synchronicities unconsciously. Your parents probably told you to be realistic every time you had a gut feeling about something. And here's why. When you're disconnected from the universe, when you can't hear the signs, you're way easier to control. Because as long as they can control your mind, they can control reality. You're easier to sell to. You're easier to keep stuck in this system. But when you learn the language of the universe, when you understand how it communicates, you become literally unstoppable. And disclaimer, by unstoppable, I don't mean you don't have any problems. But what I mean is that you could always come up with a solution before the problem gets to you too deeply. You start making decisions with clarity. You stop wasting time on the wrong paths. You start flowing instead of forcing. And that's exactly what they don't want. So let me break down the 3 ways the universe is speaking to you right now. 3 signs. And I'm warning you right now, once you see these, your entire reality is going to shift. And that's a promise. So the first sign, I think as soon as I point it out, you're going to be like, what the heck, right? This is one of those things. It's kind of like when I point out you're breathing, now you're consciously breathing. I'm sorry if I did that to you. When I point out that you are blinking your eyes too much, now you're consciously blinking your eyes. When I point out that you're not breathing enough, you're consciously going to start breathing more deeply, so forth and so on. You get the point. But as soon as I point it out, you're going to be like, what the heck? If you need to pause this video to actually think about the reason, pattern of this, go ahead and do it. But make sure you keep watching after though. All right, this is sign number 1, repetition. This is when you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again. You might see the same numbers. You might be running into the same conversations. You might be running into the same obstacles, same advice from different people. Perhaps you're thinking about starting a business or making changes in your business, and then suddenly 3 different people bring up entrepreneurship in the same week. Or you might be seeing numbers like these everywhere, maybe on your clock or everything, on receipts or on license plates. But most people, when they see this, they just brush it off. And they always say this, oh, it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. There's no coincidence in this universe. Here's what's actually happening when that happens, when you keep seeing repetition. It's your frequency. Or another way to say it is your internal state. It's like a radio dial. Your frequency in your internal state is like a radio dial. When you tune into a specific frequency, you start picking up signals that match that frequency. And think about it. You know when you're thinking about buying a red car, I know that sounds cliche, but let me finish it. And then suddenly you see red cars everywhere. And that's not because there are more red cars. They already exist. It's because your brain is now tuned to notice them because you have made a mental decision to notice them. It's the same thing with the universe. When you're aligned with something, the universe starts showing you confirmation. It's like breadcrumbs leading you forward. But this is the part where it gets dark. The universe doesn't just send you positive signs. Sometimes it sends negative signs as a warning through repetition. You might have been keep running into argument with your partner, with your friends. You keep hitting the same obstacle in your business. You keep attracting the same type of toxic person. And we're going to be like, oh, fuck me, bad luck, bad luck. That's not bad luck. That's the universe screaming at you, literally. It's literally saying, hey, there's a pattern here you need to break. There's a lesson you're not learning. And it's so funny because I had a client, he's an Eastern medicine practitioner in South Korea. Brilliant guy. His clinic was struggling and he kept telling me he's seeing different numbers like 777, Android's numbers on license plates, receipts, random places. And he just kept ignoring it, right? And when we worked together, I told him, bro, that's not random. The universe is trying to tell you something about abundance. We shifted his internal state, his frequency around money. And within 2 months, he went from less than 5 clients a day to 11 clients within 3 hours. I kid you not, 3 hours. The signs were there the whole time. He just wasn't listening. So here's what you do when you notice repetition. When you notice repetition, the first thing I want you to do is pause. And I don't mean the no diddy pause. I mean like actually just take a deep breath. There's no time limit on this, but just take a deep breath. Ask yourself this really, really simple question. What is the repetition trying to tell me? And here's your first test. Think about the last week. What's something that kept showing up? A number? A conversation topic? An internal feeling? If you can think of something right now, comment it below because I guarantee that's the universe trying to get your attention. Actually, let's do something right now. I want to prove to you that the universe is speaking to you in real time. Close your eyes for a second, take a deep breath, and ask the universe, what do I need to know right now? Don't overthink it. Just ask the question and see what comes up. It might be a word. It might be a feeling. It might be an image. Got it? Good. Now here's what's crazy. Whatever just came to you in your mind, that's your answer. That's the universe speaking directly to you. And if you're sitting there thinking, what is this guy Reeves talking about? I didn't get shit. I didn't get anything. That's because you're still in your head. You're still trying to logic your way through it. But here's something you can do right now. Next time you see a repeated number today, like 1111, 222, 888, whatever the case may be, just say thank you out loud. That's it. Just acknowledge it. Watch what happens in the next 24 hours. And I'm serious. I'm not really a big angel number guy, whatever. And I don't really study deep in that because I'm not into that spiritual shit. But when you see something that's so abnormal and it's literally screaming in your face, just say thank you and just leave it behind. See what happens in the next 24 hours. And comment below if you have anything that's crazy or interesting happen. Because sign number 2 is about to show you why you have been missing these messages. Hold on. So sign number 2, this is also one of those things that it's unconscious in the back of your mind, but once I point it out, you're going to be like, it's been there the whole time. So sign number 2 is obstacles, redirections. This one is going to completely flip how you see bad things happening in your life. Now, most people think when something goes wrong, the universe is against them. Fuck me. This is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. Why is this guy just getting whatever he wants and I'm fucking here listening to this Chinese guy yapping while I'm struggling? Sorry, I'm not trying to take a shot at you, but if you think like that, you didn't get the job. The relationship ended. The deal fell through in the business and they spiral. And if you ask yourself this question all the time, then you're exactly in that situation I'm talking about right now. And I've been hearing this from my clients, friends, whatever. they always end up asking this question. Why does this always happen to me? Why the fuck is it me? Here's the truth. The universe does not punish you. We always write that off as like a punishment or whatever. I don't want you to have that mindset from now on. Whenever you feel like there's some sort of internal stuck, or you're taking 2 steps forward and then you take 4 steps backwards, I want you to see it as the universe got your back and trying to protect you. It protects you. When you're forcing something that's not meant for you, you hit resistance, right? And that resistance isn't a punishment. I want you to conceptualize that as course correction. Let me give you a personal example. When I first started making content, because I think I'm such a brilliant guy who can just speak my mind out loud and mutual benefit with me and my clients and different people who watch, I was like, yeah, I'm going to use 3 different AI tools to write my scripts because I thought it would make me sound so professional. I was like, look at this guy stuttering in the freaking video. He sucks. I'm going to sound so flawless that people are going to be like, wow, whatever, right? And my videos were not hitting at all. I was frustrated. I was like, why isn't this working? I'm doing everything right. And I started to get into that spiral, right? I was like, how is this guy making this much like views from converting this much views from making this video? How is this guy making so much money off his videos? And I'm not. I know more than this guy, but I came up with a conclusion that doesn't matter. It's all about state of consciousness, because that's one thing I really want you guys to understand, right? Or you to understand. Prosperity. If I ask you one question, what's prosperity? You might say 100K a month, 200K a month, 10 million in the bank, 5 Ferraris, or whatever the case may be. I want you to understand this one thing, and this one thing is going to completely change the way you perceive reality. Prosperity is nothing more than a state of consciousness. And by that, I mean, different people have different numbers. It's really just a state of consciousness. A person could be making 20K, 30K, 50K a month, or whatever the case may be, and they have very low expenses, and they have a happy wife, happy life, and they have the car they want, and everyone loves them, whatever. Versus a person who could be making $1 million a month, but he could be miserable. He could be alone at home, and nobody gives a fuck about him, and he's just facing 4 walls. And the reason why I'm saying this is because one of my friends, he's super against marriage, and he's super against having kids and all that, right? And one of the, I think like a few weeks ago, or last month, there was some accident in Hong Kong where it's like the whole different 5 buildings or 8 buildings got on fire. And one of his relatives passed away, rest in peace, unfortunately. And he told me that his mindset just shifted. He realized all these years he has been working so hard, doing so much discipline, getting promoted in his job and all this stuff. But then he's like, what's the point of all this shit if I have nobody to share with? What's the point of all this shit if I just go home and facing 4 walls, right? So prosperity is nothing more than a state of consciousness, and you decide what's prosperity to you, okay? Remember that. Back to what I'm saying. All that, and then I realized the universe was redirecting me when I was doing the content. Oh, I got drift off a little bit. Let's go back to the content. I was saying like my content was so perfect and everything, and I feel like, why the hell is my content not hitting? And even when I watch it, I was cringing, right? I was like, what the fuck? I thought I looked so good, but when I watched it, I was like having goosebumps. The universe was doing nothing more than trying to redirect me. It was saying, stop being perfect, or stop chasing to be perfect. Be authentic. So I started recording voice notes, just talking naturally, no script, no AI, just me. And that's when everything shifted, right? That's when people start resonating. That's when my content started performing. The obstacle of my videos not working was actually a redirection toward my authentic voice. Now, here's the key. Most people, when they seek obstacles, right, they act like there's only option 1 and option 2. Either they give up, or they're like, I'm not doing hard enough. I'm going to force it harder. Does that sound like you? Let me tell you. Both of these responses are wrong. The right response is to pause and ask, what is this trying to show me? What is this protecting me from? Because I promise you, the universe is always working for you, not against you. And here's another example, right? I have a friend who was trying to manifest this specific person. He was doing all the techniques, all the visualizations, and nothing was happening. In fact, things were getting worse. And then he let go. He started forcing it. And within like maybe a month or two, he met someone even better than the original person that he was chasing. Someone who was actually aligned with him. I mean, and you could say that's failed manifestation. No, he got something better. How is that a failed manifestation? The universe wasn't trying to block him from love. It was blocking him from the wrong love so he could receive the right one. So here's the reframe mindset that I need you to have. When you hit an obstacle right now, it doesn't matter what it is. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Because that shift in perspective, that's how you start working with the universe instead of against it. That's how you start turning universe your employee, your bitch. You know what I mean? And I know that's foggy language, but fuck it. Now, before I get to sign number 3, I need to tell you something. If you have been seeing signs and ignoring them, the universe doesn't just stop. It escalates. Here's how it usually goes, right? And I would say this is 95% of the time or 98% of the time, that's how it goes. Whenever universe is trying to throw a sign at you, it starts with whispers, like yapping in your ears, little synchronicities, a little gentle nudges. But if you keep ignoring them, you become shouts right in your face. Bigger obstacles, louder redirection. And if you're still ignoring them, it moves to now screaming in your freaking face. Breakdowns. You might have a mental breakdown. You might have health issues. You might have major life disruptions. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to wake you up. Because sign number 3 is the most direct form of communication, and it's the one most people completely ignore. So sign number 3, body signals. Because another way to conceptualize this is that, this is just a really good analogy for me to articulate my thoughts better. Your body is like the universe. This is when you get a gut feeling about something. You could call it gut feeling. You could call it intuition. You can call it the sixth sense. Doesn't matter. It's just terminology. But essentially, it's something you feel before your mind can perceive. Okay? Or you feel chills when someone says something true. Maybe it's this video. Or you just know something without knowing how you know it. You know something without knowing how you know it. You know what I mean? I know you had that before, for sure. Your body is literally the universe speaking to you. And most people have it on silent, just like a phone. That's why they miss calls. You got 16 missed calls from the universe. And here's what most people don't realize, right? Your subconscious mind, it can process information 1,000 times faster. And it's just a number I made up, but you get it. 1,000 times faster than your conscious mind. In fact, there's this neuroscientist, Antonio Damasio. You can look it up. He proved that emotions don't start in your brain. Your emotion starts in your body, your heart, your lungs, your gut. They react first. That's why it's called gut feeling. See? And then your brain interprets those signals. So when you get a gut feeling, that's not random. That's your subconscious picking up on patterns your conscious mind hasn't caught up to yet. Now, every spiritual tradition also talks about this, right? The Bible says the kingdom of God is within you. The Tao Te Ching says the sage is guided by what he feels, not by what he sees. Buddhism talks about cultivating inner awareness. They're all pointing to the same thing. Your intuition is the universe speaking directly to you. But here's where people get confused. How do you distinguish between intuition or just fear? Here's the difference, right? And this is gold. This is going to be literally like, I think even grade 2 students will understand what I'm saying here. So if you don't understand, you might have to rewatch it again, or I don't know, hopefully your IQ, I'm not trying to talk shit, but anyways. So let's start with fear, right? Fear has these traits. Fear is loud. Fear is frantic. And fear is either based on past trauma or future worries. fear is either based on past trauma or future worries. I think that's very, very straightforward. I cannot really break it down any more direct. It feels like a contraction in your body. Your chest might have tightened, your breaths get shallow, your shoulders tense up. Now, as opposed to the other side, intuition, and just to make it clear, because I repeat it many times, gut feeling. First of all, intuition is usually quite quiet, and quiet goes hand in hand with calm. It's based on, and this is the most important, present awareness. It feels like an expansion instead of a contraction. I think you start to catch the theme here. Your chest opens up, you can breathe deeper. There's this sense of, I just know. So here's a practice, right? Think about a decision you need to make right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, does this feel like expansion or contraction on an idea? If it feels like an expansion, that's intuition. That's the universe saying yes. If it feels like contraction, that's fear. That's your ego trying to protect you from something that's not actually dangerous. I'll give you an example. A few months ago, I had this opportunity come up. On paper, it looked amazing, right? There's this guy that I was supposed to sign. Good money, good exposure, everything I thought I wanted, because he also had a pretty big social media. But when I sat with it, when I tuned into my body, I felt contraction. Something fell off, because just something off energetically with me and this guy on the call. So I almost ignored it. I almost said yes, because logically it makes sense. Like, what? All I have to do is talk to this guy a little bit and make some money and coach him to whatever. Like, it's easy money, right? But I decided to listen to my gut. And in the end, I said no. I didn't do what he required to ask me. I said no. And a week later, I found out that the opportunity would have been a complete disaster. And I'm not going to get into it because it's a bit too personal, but my intuition saved me. The universe was speaking through my body, and I listened. So for the next 24 hours, pay attention to your body. When you're making decisions, when you're around certain people, notice how your body feels. Does it expand or contract? Does it open or close? That's the universe speaking through your body. Now, before I show you what's actually happening here, I need to tell you something that's going to sound absolutely insane. And some of you are going to think I lost my mind, but just stay with me. Because what I'm about to show you is going to completely change how you see yourself and reality. Now, first of all, I want to break this word down for you. The word universe, you can either conceptualize as one, oneness, or complete, right? That's why you are your own universe. And you might have heard this, but I'm going to go one step further. Look at your eyes in the mirror. They look like nebulas. Look at your lungs. They branch out like tree roots, don't they? Look at neurons under a microscope. They look just like the cosmic web in the universe. You are literally the universe in miniature. You're a fractal of source consciousness. So when the universe speaks to you, I want you to understand one thing. It's not some external force. It's your higher self trying to guide you back to alignment. And here's the part that's going to blow your mind. And I hope it does. If it doesn't, then you're too smart. Every possible version of your life already exists right now in this very moment. The wealthy version of you, the successful version of you, the loved version of you, they're all here or all there in what the science call the quantum field. And to take it one step further, right? Here's what's kind of crazy. Right now, as you're watching this, you're literally creating the reality where you understand this. The version of you that clicked it on this video, they just collapsed a new timeline into existence. And it's not a metaphor this time, it's physics. Your job isn't to create these realities. Your job is to tune into them. And you tune in through your frequency, your internal state. Think about your frequency like a radio dial, right? When you tune into fear, lack, doubt, you're broadcasting that signal. And the universe is going to mirror that back to you. And when you tune into abundance, trust, and knowing, you're broadcasting that signal, and the universe will also mirror that back to you. This is why the signs, the synchronicities, the redirections, the intuitive hits, they're all nothing more than a feedback. They're showing you what frequency you're in. Your frequency isn't just your thoughts, it's your emotions, it's your beliefs, it's your identity. You can't just think about positive thoughts like, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm rich, I'm smart, I'm cool, and expect your life to change. You have to feel different. You have to be different. You have to become the frequency of what you want before it shows up in your physical reality. And the signs, they're showing you whether you are there or not. The truth is, the universe was trying to redirect you for years. You just weren't listening. And this is exactly what they want. And by they, I don't mean people. I mean entity, right? An energetic entity. They want you to ignore the signs. They want you to keep stuck. Because when you're listening to the universe, when you're tuned in, you're impossible to control. So long as you own your mind, you own your reality. You start making your own decisions. You start trusting yourself, and that's dangerous to the system. So if you have been seeing signs and ignoring them, if you have been feeling that gut feeling and pushing it down, if you have been hitting obstacles and forcing through them, stop, pause, listen, ask. What are you trying to tell me? Because the universe is on your side, but you have to meet it halfway. All right, so I think now all that foundation is laid down. You have a pretty good idea, how the universe communicate with you. Congratulations. And to be honest, I'm not really teaching you any of this stuff. I'm just reminding you because you already know everything, And there's this interesting theory, right? We didn't create mathematics, we discover mathematics, right? Everything you do, you're just making the unseen to be seen. You're not really trying to create anything. But here are some actionable steps to do, right? Because now all that theory is in your mind. So what do you actually do when you receive the sign? And before anything else, the first step is acknowledge or to be aware of. This goes with everything, right? Say thank you. I'm not telling you to look at a wall and say thank you. Just say thank you internally, out loud or in your head. Just acknowledge that you have received the message. Because when you do this, you're training your subconscious to recognize more signs. You're training your subconscious muscles, your manifestation muscle, and it sends a signal back to the universe that you're listening. Step 2, get still and ask, what are you telling me? Don't overthink it. Don't try to logic your way through it. Just sit in silence and let the answer come to you. Because you can only hear yourself internally when externally is quiet. Because the voice, like I said earlier, it's quite it's not that loud, right? So it's kind of like you have to turn down the volume to really hear the other sounds. It might be a feeling, it might be a thought, it might be a sudden knowing. Trust whatever comes up. Step 3, and this is the easiest. Once you have taken the sign, I want you to take action within 24 hours. And this is crucial, right? The universe rewards action. The universe rewards the go-getters. So if you get a sign to reach out to someone, do it. You might get a sign to start that project, do it. If you get a sign to just let something go, please, by all means, do it. The faster you act on the signs, the more signals you'll receive. Look, I want to bring this full circle. You clicking on this video right now, that was a sign. The universe put this in front of you because there's something you needed to hear. Maybe you have been ignoring your intuition. Maybe you have been seeing obstacles as failures when they're actually redirections. Maybe you have been feeling lost when you needed confirmation that you're on the right path. Whatever it is, trust that you were meant to see this. So here's my challenge for you, right? For the next 24 hours, pay attention, notice the repetitions, notice the redirections, notice the intuitive hits. And here's the test. If you have been seeing a specific number in the last 24 to 48 hours, like 111, 222, 333, 444, 888, whatever the case may be, comment that number below right now. I want to see how many of you are receiving the same signs because I guarantee the universe is speaking to all of us. And if you're sitting there thinking, I haven't seen any signs, that's because you haven't been paying attention. But now that you know what to look for, you're going to start seeing them everywhere because I've injected that into your mind. But when you do, come back to this video and comment, tell me what you saw because I want to hear your story. Now, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to go deeper with this work, who wants to break through your revenue ceiling by aligning your frequency with success, link in the description to work with me one-on-one. I help entrepreneurs wire their subconscious mind so they can stop self-sabotaging and start manifesting the success they're capable of, that they know they should have had for years. But whether you work with me or not, I want you to remember this one thing. The universe is always speaking, and now you know how to listen. So go out there, pay attention, trust the signs, and watch how fast your reality starts to shift. I will see you in the next one. Peace.